Hi, everyone. CBS19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony here with your latest weather impact alert. We have a couple of more severe thunderstorm warnings that have developed, so we are going to talk about those. It is currently just before 8 o'clock on this Saturday night, October 18th. If you're watching, thank you very much for streaming us on our CBS19 Plus stream, also on our YouTube channel and on the Facebook page. We are monitoring the Facebook page, try to answer any questions that you may have. 3 different severe thunderstorm warnings currently in place. One until 8:30 for Panola and Rusk County. This is going to be eastern Rusk County and western parts of Panola County. Then we have another one until 8:45. That's a little farther to the east, almost an extension of that Panola Rusk County warning. But this one now covers a cell that has moved out ahead of that secondary cell into most of Panola County, just south of Carthage. And then a third warning currently in place, and that's going to be this line of showers and thunderstorms up here to the north. Let me move the little pan up here and get a look at this. So this is going to be Cass, Harrison, Marion, Upshur counties until 8:30. Longview is also included in that. It does look like it includes the city of Longview and Gregg County, though it's not listed here, but that's Cass, Harrison, Marion, Upshur County, all the way back here, even into the very northeastern tip of Smith County. That goes until 8:30. So for about the next half hour presently with this storm. Let me zoom down to this, and then we'll try to get a track on these thunderstorms as they move eastward and southeastward. So if we could track this storm here, it's going to be this line. I'm with meteorologist Joel Robinson, Jamie Hazard here in the Weather Center tonight. We've been tracking these storms all afternoon for you, so we appreciate your time, taking out your time here and letting us keep you well advised and informed about that storm as it moves generally east at about 25 miles an hour. You're at 15 miles an hour. Pull that out to the end of the, there it is, 25. All right, to the end of the box, okay? And so as you'll see here, Longview at 7:59, so right on the doorstep for heavy rain and then thunder and lightning and some stronger winds here, potentially up to 60 miles an hour. Jefferson, that's going to be 8:01, so it's a little bit farther out here away from the cell. Initially, gusts of wind, heavy rain, then thunder and lightning. Then Hallsville at 8:17, so going out to the east of Longview, between Longview and Marshall. Hallsville not showing up here on the map, but right about in here. Baldwin at 8:22, Rodessa 8:27, then eventually over to Marshall at 8:40, and then Oil City here at about 8:47. There's Rodessa and the northern flank of this. So all of this with some gusty winds, heavy rain, and some thunder and lightning. National Weather Service says they are going to let this ride all the way out to 8:30, see how this evolves before they issue any other downstream warnings on that cell. But again, that one goes until 8:30. We're going to come down here and track these two cells. This one back here around Dotson and Carthage have both been particular of interest because at times they've shown some rotation. This one near Pine Hill, it looks like it has a little bit of hail inside of that. That's moving toward Carthage and Buncombe, and then Dotson also. And then Carthage, currently you are in that thunderstorm. Look at all that lightning. So it is a loud Saturday night in Carthage, just south of Grand Bluff, but likely in Grand Bluff you are hearing the thunder and seeing the lightning if you look out to your south. All right, I'm not sure, Joel or Jamie, if we can put a timeline on this. It's kind of difficult on both of those cells since they're sort of clustered up there. All right, the Pine Hill cell might be a good one to do. And maybe then we'll take a look inside that storm using our velocity scope and see if we can pick up what the winds are doing inside that storm. But that one's essentially moving to the east also, roughly 25 miles an hour. So Holland Quarters, it's right there now. So it's basically in Holland Quarters. Carthage, 8:08, so maybe it's sagging a little farther south toward Carthage, and Logan on the outside of the box at about 8:44. So that's about an hour away or 45 minutes away from that cell. So that's going to be, and then we go back here into Pine Hill. So this is a little bit of rotation that we were watching that moved just south of Henderson. There was a ragged wall cloud reported, but it wasn't really rotating. And then the National Weather Service says the rotation within this cell itself is elevated and far enough off the ground to where they would not issue a tornado warning on it. And again, the storm spotter back in Henderson reporting the ragged wall cloud, more of a lowering, but again, it wasn't rotating. So enough information there, ground truth information, and also radar information to keep this from becoming a tornado warning. But still, a pretty potent storm for the folks in Pine Hill. Henderson, you are out of that storm now. It's over, so you don't have to worry about any more severe weather here tonight, though it could shower again in Henderson. And out to the east from Pine Hill to Dotson to Carthage, that's where that cell is headed. And again, that's going to be in effect for the next half hour. So we'll try to stay with this as long as we can, just in case we see some sort of spin up with that. But right now, it is very elevated rotation at this time. Then we have this sort of pseudo line of showers and thunderstorms from northwest of Center back to Nacogdoches, northwest of Lufkin. So if you were watching any of our streams earlier this afternoon and this evening, we talked about the possible regeneration of a line of thunderstorms. And so this is kind of what we're seeing now. The atmosphere recovered in this area. We still had the ingredients for a possible tornado. And so that tornado watch has been allowed to extend for another hour until 9 o'clock for Nacogdoches County and Rusk County, for Panola and Shelby County, St. Augustine and Sabine County. It was dropped for Cherokee, Smith, Gregg County, Harrison, and Marion County. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a severe thunderstorm warning like we had, but what it means is that this area here is where the conditions would be more conducive for a possible tornado to spin up. And we did have a severe thunderstorm warning that the National Weather Service put a tornado tag possible on it, meaning that there was enough rotation at the time as it was moving across central Rusk County and now into eastern Rusk County that they were a little concerned there might be a brief spin up. And that's certainly a possibility. We have not seen anything like that today. We've had a few severe thunderstorm warnings, but no damage reported as of right now. And the winds inside this storm, not suggesting that they're especially strong, though there's a little brighter return there northwest of Dotson. So we have not heard of any types of damage. We've had a little bit of hail from time to time within these cells, but we've had a few scattered severe thunderstorm warnings. And one of the things I've been hearing about from folks on Facebook is that they did not get, one, enough rain to even make the dust wet. Two, they were disappointed in the amount of rain that we've received. Some of these showers and thunderstorms have missed a lot of areas. So they've been scattered. Some areas, though, you see are getting a pretty good downpour towards Center, over toward Cushing, and back toward Lufkin. And even up toward Tyler, there's a little shower there, and toward Hallsville as these showers work their way to the east and a little bit now to the southeast. We'll put this into motion for you. And when you see this go into motion, you'll see that general movement west to east here on these cells riding along and north of Interstate 20. So these have about an hour until they are out of the area. And even these cells now are moving at a fairly decent clip, that they're moving out of Rusk County into Panola County. They'll be over into Louisiana within an hour. These cells down here may take until 10 o'clock or even 11 o'clock to get them out of deep East Texas, with additional thunderstorms forming north of Huntsville, north of West Livingston, and tracking due east. So there's a little more of an easterly now, east to west or west to east movement of the storm. I like to see that. Sometimes we'll get into more danger of a rotating supercell or rotating cell in East Texas when the cells are moving from the southwest to the northeast. Of course, that's just a natural movement for counterclockwise rotation, right? If something's moving from the south to the north and the winds are maybe coming in from the southeast, it can just easily turn back to a counterclockwise rotation. The fact that they're moving west to east would suggest more of a clockwise, or maybe you get an inflow notch into one of these storms that could spin something up. But I do like this movement west to east. Just have to watch this one cell here as it moved through a part of the environment that was showing a little bit of rotation within that cell. So that continues here across the area. But severe thunderstorm warning, again, this little sliver of Smith County, Tyler is not included in that. That goes until 8:30. That also then includes Gregg County, City of Longview. Hallsville would be included in that. Out toward Marion County has a small part of, I believe, Harrison County included. There's actually the northwest half of Harrison County, Marion County up to Cass County, back to the west, and then there's Upshur and not Wood County, but Upshur County included in that. That warning goes until 8:30. Then you have, it looks like now this cell is moving out of Rusk County, so I would expect Rusk County to get dropped from that warning soon. That warning goes also until 8:30. The warning here in Panola County goes until 8:45. Lightning is also increased in these thunderstorms. So one, that tells us there could possibly be more hail or larger hailstones inside the storm. Two, the rainfall rates are really increasing within that storm. And three, if we're getting that much lightning, we must have an updraft that is at least continuing to rotate or being sustained by some moist, warm, humid air flowing into the storm. And right in here, you might notice this little drop in the radar echo. So a little bit of an inflow coming into the storm right in that area there. And there's likely going to be more inflow coming into the storms as these storms move into that really buoyant atmosphere down to the south and to the southeast. Yeah, Joel?
I have an update on the severe thunderstorm warning for central Panola County. It actually has the capability of producing golf ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Of course, this is radar indicated at this time, but especially with these storms producing as much lightning as they are, general kind of rule of thumb is the more lightning a storm has, the more intense it has, and we have certainly seen a lot of lightning with these storms this evening. Definitely hail is going to be a possible issue. Golf ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Of course, we're also watching for a potential tornado threat with these as well. We're kind of looking for that kidney bean type shape storm out there. That kind of indicates that it is a rotating thunderstorm, and we look for that little hook echo, which usually appears at the southwestern corner of one of these cells. And we have had a little bit of a spin up with some of these cells, but luckily, as we were saying before, these cells, the rotation is elevated, which is a good thing because you'll have the storms or the rotation elevated enough, you won't really have too much concern of it really reaching the ground and producing a tornado. So let's go over to Hail Tracker real quick, see kind of what we're possibly dealing with as indicated by the radar here. So yeah, we have that potential for at least nickel quarter size, and as indicated by the National Weather Service, we have that potential to see maybe some golf ball size hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. You look as far southeast, in far southeast Pine Hill, we have some blues in there, possible $half size hail, borderline golf ball size hail. It's probably going to be the largest type of hailstone that you're going to see. And then on the eastern side of Carthage, likely seeing some nickel to quarter size hail with these storms as well. And certainly some heavy rainfall as well, especially given the storm orientation as compared to the movement. So we time this out, you can see these storms moving kind of in that westerly to easterly direction. It's moving over the same spot over a long period of time, so certainly some flash flooding is going to be a possibility, or at least just flooding. We haven't had any sort of flash flood warnings issued today, which is a good thing, but certainly some heavy rainfall falling with these storms in particular. So we take a look at estimated rainfall, and we'll clear some of these locations out. So we go to Carthage. This is estimated by the radar. At least an inch of rain has fallen with these storms today, and then we go over to Pine Hill, close to that. At least a little bit over 1/10 of an inch in some spots, probably a little bit more in other spots, especially where we're seeing some of the heaviest rainfall. So again, that's kind of what we're dealing with when it comes to these severe thunderstorms in particular as we go forward. And again, not completely ruling out a tornado threat here, but it is luckily starting to subside just a little bit, especially given that these storms are kind of merging a little bit. That kind of affects each and individual storm in how they rotate and how they're going to be oriented. So again, these severe thunderstorm warnings, at least for parts of Panola and Rusk County, that goes until 8:30. The other severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Just Panola County, that goes until 8:45, and that's for these two cells right here. This severe thunderstorm that's in effect, or that has this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Panola County, expect a second thunderstorm to kind of move in behind that, so additional heavy rainfall, possible hail as well with these storms as well. So we are going to continue to expect that at least for the next 45 minutes. And it doesn't look like we're seeing too much out of our wind tracker at this time, which is a good thing. Like I said, we saw a couple of signatures earlier, and they do look to have subsided thanks to the storms kind of merging together, kind of becoming one, if you will. So these two updrafts becoming one, affecting each other's spin. So at this point, we're just kind of looking at a damaging wind threat up to 70 miles per hour and a possible hail threat as well.
Yes, the National Weather Service calling that a considerable, it put a considerable tag on that storm going from Beckville east toward the state line with, as you mentioned, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and possible golf ball sized hail within that cell. So it's good to see cell merger there. In terms of the tornado threat, that should bring it down a little bit more. Up to the north, we're still hearing that line of thunderstorms that's moving to the east toward Cass County, toward Wood, Upshur County, or I shouldn't say Wood County, but Upshur County, northward across Gregg County, then into Marion and Harrison counties. That cell continuing to move west to east. It's north of the what we had little boundary that moved through earlier. So the big threat there is just some straight line winds and some heavy rainfall coming with that, and a lot of lightning. As you can see, it continues working its way eastward over toward Marshall and Vivian, eventually working its way into northwest Louisiana. So if we widen everything out here and just kind of get a perspective, a lay of the land, if you look back toward Tyler, there isn't much at all. There was a little shower in eastern parts of Smith County. We had a little shower trying to fire up just north of Jacksonville, another one to the southwest of Henderson, and then Lufkin right now. These are non-severe thunderstorms from center down to Lufkin, pushing essentially west to east. Nothing yet is coming from northwest to southeast, west to east. This area here still under the tornado watch until 9 o'clock, so another hour. We'll see if it will be extended for an hour or two. It's possible, but I would imagine once we get all of these thunderstorms east of the state line, that we'll start to see some more counties dropped out of that. But Cherokee County still in the tornado watch until 9 p.m. So is Rusk County, Panola County, Shelby County, Sabine County, San Augustine County, Angelina, Nacogdoches, and Cherokee County. Smith County, Gregg County taken out of the tornado watch earlier as a little outflow boundary, or a little boundary that turned the winds to the north. All right, so this is going to talk about the severe thunderstorm warning criteria. Base severe thunderstorm warning, which we typically talk about, 58 miles an hour. We just had the considerable pop up here, and so that's the 70-mile-an-hour winds and or the hail that could be golf ball sized hail. So different criteria. If you get to the destructive with 80-mile-an-hour winds, if you have the setting on your phone, you will get the wireless emergency alert on the devices. And so that will trigger automatically. So it would say something like the National Weather Service has a severe thunderstorm warning till a certain time, destructive 80-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, it doesn't happen for a base severe thunderstorm warning or a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, but it does happen when we get to the destructive level, and it will tell you the threats. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. So we're not there on the Panola County storm. We are here, but we get to the spring, we may get at some point, sometimes in summertime with straight line winds, we can get into these destructive thunderstorm warnings. All right, so we've got about 19 minutes to go on the severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of the area, including Rusk County and Panola County. And then the Panola County, farther into Panola County, goes until 8:45. And then this cell here, this line, I should say, it almost looks like it's trying to sort of loop in here, is these little line echo wave pattern perhaps picking up. This goes until 8:30 also. So a couple cells till 8:30, one till 8:45 in Panola County. And then the warned storms down to the south near Tenaha and Center. Let's put a track on the storms south. They're moving out of Nacogdoches, so if you're in Nacogdoches, I think you're going to start to, if you're on the east side of town, maybe it's still raining. Otherwise, I think it looks like it's moving on out of there. South side of Nacogdoches might pick up a storm. Lufkin, of course, getting yet another thunderstorm. Might be about the third time we've seen thunderstorms roll through Lufkin today. But that's moving east at 25 miles an hour. Chirino's in the path in about a minute. Huntington, if you live down there, 822. Calgary, San Augustine around 837. Drecka about 846. Goober Hill around 851. And Broadus by 858. And that means that between 9 and 10 o'clock, it would then move in to Sabine County. Otherwise, up to the north on those two other cells, looks like we've lost Rusk County from the severe thunderstorm warning. It's now been shaved back, pared back to just include Panola County. New severe thunderstorm warning coming. So let's see, that might be a reissue of the Panola County storm. I believe it might be, excuse me, on that. I'm not real sure, guys. Do you know if it's just the reissue of paring away the Rusk County and then reissuing? Oh, looks like there it is.
So with this one, we're expecting ping pong ball size hail at the max hail size and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that's kind of closer to base level as we were kind of talking about earlier. But ping pong ball size hail is still a considerable hail size here. And that's covering these storms here that are, again, in Panola County. So we'll take a little bit of a zoom out here and we'll put it into motion. Just put it in a little bit of a detailed look here. So again, this is kind of what we're watching here when it comes to these severe thunderstorm warnings in particular, is that hail threat really starting to increase, and of course that wind threat as well starting to kind of increase, especially when it comes to the wind speed. And looks like we have the algorithms are kind of picking up on a little bit of spin there. We'll take a look at velocity real quick and see what's going on. But thankfully, you know, especially like I was saying earlier, when these cells kind of merge together, interact with each other, they can cut each other's rotation off. And it looks like whatever it's picking up here it's very weak, not expecting anything tornadic out of these storms, just mainly a wind and hail threat. And again, so these severe thunderstorm warnings, that newly issued severe thunderstorm warning is going to go until 9:15. That's going to be 9:15 for that severe thunderstorm warning. And that's going to cover this cell that's just the south of Carthage and east of Dotson. That's moving east at about 25 miles per hour. So we'll get some locations in there for that storm in particular. And again, what we're watching for when it comes to this storm is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and the potential for ping pong ball size hail. So Gary City, you're on deck at 8:15 for this storm. Paxton, you're at 8:29. Joaquin, 8:42, and then Logansport at 8:48. So again, this will go until 9:15. It does include areas in Louisiana as well. So DeSoto, that parish there is included in the severe thunderstorm warning. And again, we're watching for a wind and hail threat. And again, 8:15, Gary City, Tenaha is 8:22, Paxton is 8:29 p.m., Joaquin 8:42, and then Logansport is also 8:48 once again.
All right, haven't picked up anything new from the Weather Service. Still watching those cells. Looks like we are. Well, the new Storm Prediction Center outlook came out, and it pretty much is following what we have in terms of the tornado watch. It still keeps this area of Deep East Texas in a slight risk for the rest of the night, overnight into tomorrow morning. It still has the 5% tornado threat closer to the Louisiana side. But this just came out minutes ago. So it does extend all the way back to Tyler and parts of Cherokee County. But what I've seen is, it looks like it's going to end up being a little bit farther east than that. It's odd that this, at least the graphic we show here, has it that far west. It's more like in here and then eastwards, where the watch is still in effect for that slight risk. So still a chance to have a couple of more, and we're getting those right now. Scattered wind gusts that could exceed 60 miles an hour, maybe some quarter to ping pong ball sized hail. We're also hearing about that in Panola County. So that's the big picture. So we have this thunderstorm here for the next 13 minutes, moving west to east over towards Shreveport, moving currently through Hallsville. It's pouring in Hallsville right now. Also pouring in Carthage, and you have a secondary area of rain moving through. And in Center, that's a heavy thunderstorm, but it's not warned as severe, but you're still getting a pretty good wind, likely in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range, maybe some pea-sized hail with that. And if you saw here in eastern Nacogdoches County, when it just kind of pulsed up, right in there's a little hail core east of Nacogdoches, ready to move into southwestern parts of Shelby County. We'll zoom down into here east of Nacogdoches, maybe check out that little bit of a hail core that just pulsed up for a second east of Nacogdoches. So a lot of lightning. In fact, lightning's trying to increase on that part of the cell there. So we're going to go down into eastern Nacogdoches County. That's going to be right at Swift. See that little pulse up? So like might be a little bit of hail in there. There is. Yeah, it's marble-sized hail. Maybe to nickel. There's a little bit of light blue that was showing up there. That's right out Highway 7 towards Swift and into Martinsville within the next 15 minutes. So you might start hearing the pounding of hail on your rooftop if you live in Swift or Martinsville or anywhere out to the east of Nacogdoches on one of the county roads. Also along Highway 21, if you knew someone who was driving toward Nacogdoches and they were coming toward through Martinsville or Swift and they were driving from Aiken or Jericho, you might want them to hold up, let that storm pass by before they continue their journey into that hail core currently just to the west of Swift. So that'll be in Swift, and then Martinsville, lightning. They're likely seeing a lot of lightning in that and a lot of blinding heavy rainfalls, likely reducing visibilities well below a half mile. And at night, it's even harder to see, so it could be down to about a quarter mile. Then you have the thunderstorm on the south side of Nacogdoches between Davisville and Alizan. That's moving east toward Woden currently, towards Chirino. And it looks like Etoile is also going to get a decent, maybe rain. Of course, it could just split right around Etoile. We've seen a lot of that today, where thunderstorms have been moving toward an area and then just split around one particular city. But that would be the north end of Sam Rayburn. So it looks like it's going to go right over the north end of Sam Rayburn. In fact, that part of the cell should push into Broadus and just clip by Zavala. While Center now getting the heavy rain. Garrison, you've moved out of the heavy rain, and Cushing, you're missing the rain as it moves off to the north. And it looks like one more shower here coming through Henderson, just north of Henderson, on up all the way toward Longview along Highway 59. And then out toward Darko, you have another thunderstorm moving into Darko that's coming out of Longview. Pretty rumbly night in Longview, very rumbly night in Jefferson with heavy rainfall. And Linden, now the rain's starting to let up. Marshall, the rain is going to be picking up here in about 15 minutes, and it will come down. It'll be a screamer when it's raining, just really hard. Maybe a little bit of wind-driven rain. And this continues to be the cell that we were watching for ping pong ball-sized hail and wind gusts that were at one time 70 miles an hour. It backed them off to about 60 miles an hour, and I believe it's going to be in this part of that cell there. There's two warned cells. And they did have one on the one warning. Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, is it this one we're looking at now, the one back toward Tenaha that's got the potential for the 60 or 70 mile an hour winds?
Yeah, this one, we'll check one more time, but yeah, it was 60 mile per hour wind gusts and ping pong size hail with this cell.
Okay, so, and then that, let's put a track on the part of that cell that we'd be most concerned with. Maybe track that over to the Louisiana border, figure out when it moves out. By the way, up in DeBary, you are, looks like you're north of the thunderstorms. You're probably hearing thunder, but that thunderstorm will miss you. There's still some rain coming back in from Tatum. All right, so Tenaha at 8:32. That warning goes until, I believe it was 8:45. Paxton till 8:36, Joaquin till 8:47, and Logansport, which would put it over in Louisiana by 8:50. So that storm should move out of Texas by the time the tornado watch expires at 9 p.m. Again, no word yet if there will be an extension to that watch. They may extend it up till about 11 o'clock. We'll have to wait and see. But that's going to be for counties over deep East Texas. There's Flat Fork and Center. Flat Fork is between the two thunderstorms currently. Joaquin right now seeing a pretty heavy thunderstorm, but you have another one behind it that is moving back in. Then you have a couple of other showers around Henderson. They'll move through Chapman and over toward Dotson. A little bit of hail that we've been picking up on. Lightning is increased there to the northwest of Tenaha. So keep in mind, or keep mindful of that. There could be that little hail core there, which could be $half sized hail near Buncombe. So our at least estimator is radar estimating anywhere from about $quarter to $half sized hail toward Buncombe. That's tracking east. That would head toward Gary City if it continued on that path. And that, again, severe thunderstorm warning for this new portion till 9:15. So that Buncombe cell is going to take till after 9 o'clock to move it east of Gary City and perhaps down toward Tenaha, while this part of the cell near Dotson will expire at 8:30, so in about 7 minutes, as that moves out of that warned area and then moves over into Panola County and eventually down into Shelby County. We'll stay on till 8:30 with you with this cell, and then we will take a break, and we have to get ready for CBS 19 news at 10 o'clock. So we'll take a break and try to get everyone caught up to date between now and about 8:30. Unless there's a tornado warning issued, we will then be done streaming for the evening, and then of course we'll have CBS 19 news at 10 o'clock. So we'll go back to reflectivity, kind of big picture of this all. This right now, part of two clusters of thunderstorms. This one moving through Panola County and into Shelby County, and then this is a non-warned area moving west to east that's leaving Lufkin, headed across southern Nacogdoches County towards San Augustine County and Sabine County. And then you had that rotating cell that's spinning like a top through Panola County and diving south and eastward, and that has prompted that severe thunderstorm warning until 9:15. This cell here maybe just expired or was allowed to expire as it moved out of Hallsville. Let's freeze that and get the latest image. So, well, we still have the warning till 8:30 in for, all right, so that does not include Smith County. It does include Gregg County, and it does include Longview, Northern Rusk County, Harrison County, Marion County, and Cass County. That goes until 8:30. So that's got about 5 more minutes on it. And then these thunderstorms here moving eastward this one has about 5 more minutes, and then the one that'll take over and dominate most of Panola County will last until 9:15. So that one still has about 45 minutes to go. And we'll see. It doesn't look like there's an extension or a downstream warning on this, and this cell now looks a lot more raggedy than it looked at one point. It had a well-defined line to it. Looked like there might be some strong straight line winds coming out of it. Now it looks all kind of ragged and ill-defined. So there's probably heavy rain, some lightning inside that, and continuing to rain pretty hard at Longview, and then moving away and out of the state. Another little cell has popped up here back in parts of Henderson County east of Athens. That would track into parts of Smith County and across the north end of Lake Palestine should it continue to move on its path and should it stay as strong as it is. Any comments from Facebook or anything that we need to answer? Any questions?
Yes, Rob is just making sure he's hoping that we're not going to get hit again while we're sleeping overnight in Tyler.
Don't think so. I think this moves out, especially in Tyler. Now, it might last a little bit into the overnight over in Sabine County or San Augustine County, but I think for Tyler it's going to be good here within the next half hour.
Yeah, I think that the cold front is finally making its way through, and so by tonight we should be nice and quiet. I also wanted to share that the tornado watch has been extended until 11 p.m. for these following counties here. So basically, the same counties that we were kind of talking about earlier, the tornado watch has been now extended until 11 p.m. for those counties, because we still have some activity going on as we've been talking about here. A few severe thunderstorm warnings in far eastern Texas at this point, and even in the western parts of Louisiana. We're going to continue to watch these cells over deep East Texas. They're not severe at this time, but certainly some strong cells that definitely could have the potential to produce some 30 to 40 mile per hour winds and some maybe some small hail and of course some heavy rainfall as well. So we're going to watch those very, very closely. Again, they're not severe at this time, just on the southern end of Nacogdoches County all the way through areas like Center, seeing some heavy rainfall there, and as far south as Lufkin. Lufkin, you are getting out of this area of rain that we're watching for right now. But the main areas that we're kind of concerned with right now are these areas here. Panola County and Shelby County still within these severe thunderstorm warnings until 8:45 p.m. and also until 9:15. And then we go further to the north, all the way from Longview all the way up towards Jefferson, still have that severe weather, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for this band of thunderstorms until 8:30. So you don't have too much longer with this. I am noticing that the lightning is starting to die down just a little bit. Maybe that could be just me, but I think the lightning is starting to die down just a little bit. It's definitely still could be around severe limits with heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. So you're not out of the woods, of course, just yet, but I think the National Weather Service is going to allow that to expire at around 8:30. And okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of some darker colors just northwest of Tenaha. Looks like there definitely could be some larger hail. We'll take a look at hail tracker real quick and see what we can see. All right, so we're seeing at least $half size hail with this. Again, we were watching for the potential for ping pong ball size hail. $half size hail is definitely being estimated just southeast of Buncombe and just west of Gary City. There's 59 right there heading towards that area. The main hail core that we're watching for, again, is right within that blue area, and we can kind of see it with some of the purple that we were seeing with this. So we'll take a little bit of a query here when it comes to this storm heading right into Gary City. It is definitely raining pretty hard in Gary City at this time, moving east at 38 miles per hour. Probability of hail is at a 100%, and we're already seeing some estimated hail amounts there of near $half size hail. Tornado impact is at a 0. We're not really concerned with that at this point, mainly just heavy winds and large hail. That's the two main things that we're going to be watching for when it comes to these storms. And of course, we're also going to be watching for the possibility for some flooding in some locations, easily picking up at least 1 to 2 inches of rain. Let's take a look at estimated rainfall real quick just to kind of get an idea. And again, these amounts right here that we're seeing right now is estimated by the radar. So we'll get some ground truth here eventually. But it's estimated at least 1.5 inches of rainfall just west of Gary City. As we take a look at Buncombe, that's going to be around 1 inch of rainfall. So very, very heavy rainfall amounts here that we're watching with these storms. And then just to the west of Carthage, easily, possibly 2.5 inches of rain there. So some very heavy rainfall amounts from these storms here as they continue to track. And one thing that's definitely problematic is the fact that these storms are kind of moving over the same area over and over, and plus we just had a previous round earlier this afternoon, so plenty of rainfall has fallen with these storms over the past several hours here, which is definitely helpful. Unfortunately, it's not falling everywhere, but those of us that are seeing rain are at least seeing 1 to 2 inches here across the area. So that's something that we can definitely be thankful for, especially given the drought conditions, Brett.
Yeah, definitely so, Joel. Those drought conditions need a little easing. They get a little bit in some parts of the area, so we'll see. Those thunderstorms to the southeast in parts of, what is that, Shelby County and Nacogdoches County, Angelina County, not warned at this time. I do want to go back up to the north on that one cell it was allowed to expire, this one right here, so it weakened, and the severe thunderstorm warning was allowed to expire at 8:30. It is expected to continue to weaken as it moves north or eastward toward Wascom, over through Marshall, through Tatum, and eventually over into Louisiana. So that's certainly good news. I think for now we probably need to take a break here and allow Jamie Hazard to get ready for the 10 o'clock news unless we get another tornado warning. But we do appreciate you guys watching us here tonight, streaming with us on CBS 19 Plus, also on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. Remember to like, subscribe, share the YouTube channel out. Also share any post the questions also on the Facebook page, and we will try to answer those when we can. Otherwise, thanks for joining us here and hanging out with us tonight, following these storms throughout this afternoon. For Jamie Hazard and meteorologist Joel Robinson, I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Have a great evening.